Stock Watch. It's back. We know you've missed it. We've missed doing it. It's been a couple weeks. We got so rich. We just didn't want to, sell any tips for the last couple weeks.
I don't know if that's true.
We didn't?
Feels false.
Oh. Well, I did. I don't know what happened to you guys.
I have owed so much Kenyatta Jackson stock. He's played like 10 snaps.
Well, that has... All right, let's update that. Welcome back to the Podcast Daily. Happy Hump Day from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. That's Bill Landis, Jeremy Birmingham, and I'm Austin Ward. They go like this, though. You ride the wave.
That's right.
Up and down and around.
Yep.
Who would you like to invest in now that you hadn't, Bill?
I don't believe I have mentioned Denzel Burke on this here show prior to this episode. He's playing very well. I like when there's a lot of talk about a guy in the offseason, and then he just backs it up when he gets out there. And granted, has he been tested by the best players on the planet? No. But when he has been tested, he's answered the bell. A couple pass breakups against Indiana, a great interception last week prior on that drive, a great run stop where his helmet and his head cover flew off. It was awesome. I don't like Denzel Burke last year. I don't think makes a play like that. So he is very much, I think, trying to be a tone setter for this defense, both in the game and then after the game too, with some of the things that he said.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah,
that's why I would like buying stock.
Yeah,
he said
they need a little bit.
We're supposed to mug these dudes, and that is fantastic.
It's awesome. Yeah. So I
he's been good that way with quotes all year, by the way.
Yes, I want to give him his flowers for talking a big game and then showing up on the field and doing it.
Backing it up.
Approve.
Up.
Down. Defensive ends. I mean, they're down.
Remember last year he refused to take down socks?
Well, this is too obvious.
Different berm.
It's too obvious to ignore it. Something is off there, whether it's the scheme not utilizing these guys to their best talent, whether it's the talent not being interested enough in the game, whether it's freelancing, whatever the problem is. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. That's not my job. I don't get paid millions of dollars to do it.
What do they pay you millions of dollars to do?
They don't pay me millions of dollars to do anything. There is something that is just not clicking when it comes to the defensive line in totality, but the specifics are on the edge because I think the tackles have continued to play well in the last 2 weeks. I just don't see enough from the defensive end. So, and it's not one guy. It's Jack Sawyer. It's JT Tuimoloau. It's Caden Curry. When he gets in the game, as much energy as he brings, he's still not getting home. He's not getting to the quarterback. Kenyatta Jackson has played limited reps, as Bill said, and has not been able to make an impact. So what do you need? Put Mitchell Melton out there. Let me see the Jack. I don't know. Just do something different because it's not working. I don't think that they played the run very well against Youngstown State either. To be honest, I feel like
the whole line or just the ends?
The ends.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not play very well. And if their job is, if that's the thing, and that's what we were told on Tuesday, like their job is to set the end and to hold
stop
leverage,
the run first,
hold leverage. They're not doing it because they're still getting beat on, and and Youngstown State was not running in the A gap. Okay, they were running on the outside. So something's off. Fix it. Please fix it. That's all I'm saying.
I think there is a stock up on the defensive line, and that is Tyleik Williams. I would say there's probably been few or no people who've been more critical of Tyleik and his approach. This is not new. I've had this conversation with him many times. He's talked about needing to work harder, dealing with laziness, thinking it was going to be easy. And then once he had the injury on the first day of training camp, I was like, well, let's just talk about Taiwan Malone and Hero Kanu because somebody else is going to have to do it. He rehabbed. He got back out there. He's playing more snaps than anybody else on the defensive line. I would have to say he's probably earned the right to do that at this point. He's eating up tackles. He's playing with more energy than I've seen, or eating up blocks, not necessarily tackles. The production may not be quite there, but he deserves to be on the field through the first 2 weeks. I would still very much like to see more Mike Hall. I think that if you have your druthers of anyone on that group who needs to play the highest volume of snaps, it has got to be the player with the highest ceiling on the interior, which I still believe is Mike Hall. But Tyleik Williams, at least based on my own assessment of the stock, has vastly outperformed it, and he deserves credit for doing so.
It's a good call out. I think he's doing more of sort of like the dirty work that maybe he was not always willing to do, which is helping, I think, the defense as a whole. So that's
391.
Yeah, I would have picked him too if he didn't. I'll go stock up on G. Scott Jr. I thought he had a good game. He had a good game last week. I thought he was our best blocking tight end on a day where the blocking from the tight ends was not tremendous. Out in space on a couple of runs. Had a tough catch on the 4th down, right, from Devin Brown.
Yep.
Also had a 4th down catch against Indiana, didn't he, on the play action pass? That was also
he's
G?
2 for 2 on 4th down.
Yeah, so like you like a guy who's reliable in those situations, but it's more about the blocking for me. I thought his blocking was, I don't want to say a revelation, but it was better than I expected it to be. Again, it's Youngstown State, so how much credit do you actually get? I think you give him a little bit, and hopefully it builds confidence for him, because I think they need to supplement Cade Stover a little bit at that position as much as they can.
Word. Speaking of telegraphing, I kind of did this on Monday at the Rooster Show, but Matthew Jones has just played very good football the first 2 weeks on an offensive line that has been at times suspect, at times just a question mark of the entire team. I think Matthew Jones has been a nice, solid, steady stock, and he's, I think right now, PFF grades, whatever, he's like the number 2 ranked guard in the country. That's pretty good. I think he deserves
it's
a little
not bad.
bit.
There are a lot of guards.
Yeah, he deserves some credit for what he's doing and being a staple of that group and helping the other guys come along. So kudos to Matthew Jones. Wearing the same size shoe on both feet.
That's important.
Turns out is valuable. And he looks good. He's moving good, strong, powerful at the point of the deck, run blocking, pass blocking, doing everything he needs to do. Matthew Jones, stock up. And I'm going to buy a little bit. Just a skosh. I know it's not like a blue chip stock when you're talking about guards, but he's a kid that has been here a long time, and it's nice to see that he's just doing his job.
He's the guy who gets to, like, when they win, he like slaps it up on the board and then says, best thing about being whatever and and then they start singing the song.
Oh, see?
Which is like a very funny role for him to be in because he doesn't talk.
Yeah, he would not be my first or 15th pick to do that.
He seems great at it, though. No notes. He's been good. He's been
really
good the first
good
2
at
weeks.
slapping things out of board.
You can hear him. He projects. It's great.
Stock up on board slapping.
That's right. Who knew how important that would be to this team? That's part of the leadership that you're looking for.
Ted Lasso did it.
Yeah.
Worked for him.
And that show didn't suck for its second 2 seasons.
See? Exactly.
Stuck way down on Ted Lasso.
Well, it's over now. We can move on.
That's right.
Is it?
It's over.
I don't know.
I'm sure they'll have some spin-off or something.
They keep trying to pretend like that's not really
I'm
done.
sure they'll have some weird spin-off about Roy and Keeley or something that people aren't going to watch, but whatever. Go ahead.
Okay. Stock up.
Oi!
Over the next couple of weeks, I expect to see even more Jordan Hancock. And I think there was that noticeable shift we talked about in spring and then camp. Like, hey, what does Ohio State really want from that nickel? Sonny Styles can play there. You got Cam Martinez in passing situations. And the one play where Cam did get beat on Saturday, I think all three of us would agree was a lot closer and maybe not as bad as we thought in real time or initially. Just maybe if his fingers were like 3 inches longer, which would be weird.
Salad fingers.
But if he had alien fingers, it would have been a PBU. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have those. But
Jordan Hancock doesn't need alien
But Jordan
fingers.
Hancock has the corner skills that we've talked about. Is that going to fit? I was thinking a little bit about, the Shaun Wade season at nickel and how much we talked about his corner skills and like he wanted to be an outside corner, but the best use of him for that year and for Ohio State was like putting him there. He had the toughness and the competitiveness and the ability to play in pass coverage that made that like really appealing. And maybe that's where this is headed for Ohio State. Don't know that for sure, but I'm willing to place a couple units on it and invest in some stocks that Jordan Hancock is about to. I don't know what that means for the rotation at corner with the three guys. Maybe that means that Jair Brown can help play me some more snaps out there. I don't know.
I'm sure he'd like that.
I think he would. Just speculating. Like, if Jordan Hancock starts to get a higher volume of snaps at nickel, which I think is going to happen, maybe some other pieces get moved around. Maybe we see different things, but I think what you'll see more than anything else is Jordan Hancock making a really big impact on the game.
I said it on our Monday rewatch. Like I had Shaun Wade visions watching Jordan Hancock.
I thought about that when he was recruited. Like, wasn't that kind of a comp?
Yeah, I mean, they had him as the like 1 or 2 corner on their board in the class of 2021 alongside J.K. Johnson. So like they were extremely high on Jordan Hancock and the versatility. But like now you see him and he just looks big.
Yes, length. Like that's like Ryan and I talked about, like the length they can throw out there on defense with him and Igbinosun and Sonny Styles and maybe Kenyatta Jackson someday. I don't know. I'm gonna hold on to my Styles.
Don't get rid of it.
I'm gonna hold it. But let's see. I don't know if this is necessarily stock up, but it was an idea that I have been very enamored by for a long time, and that is the idea of Marvin Harrison Jr. playing the slot. And I think there's potentially good value there leading into the Notre Dame game when I think they are going to show that a little more. Saw it a little bit last week. His second touchdown was sort of a slot fade. They ran that play where they motioned him through the backfield, almost like I think a play they would have ran for Jackson last year.
Yep.
So I think like it's there, it's brimming, and maybe we don't see a ton of it this week, but I think we see a lot of it against Notre Dame. So I mostly want to mention it so that I can potentially sound smart after the fact, but I will still buy a little bit of stock in that idea coming to fruition.
I think the word is burming.
Burming. It's burming.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of burming, I'm trying not to burm.
Do it. Go full burm.
I want people to just hold the Trayvion Henderson stuff.
Oh, just hold.
Okay? Just
Hold.
Like what we saw on Saturday is the ideal iteration of Trayvion Henderson. Now, not the number of touches. Maybe you want to double that to 13 or 14. But to me, I think that you see him in that role where he's maybe not your first, second, third down back every time, but he's a guy that if you can get him to the outside, if you can get him in space, get him catching the ball in the backfield, find a way to stop running the stupid short side BS crap to him that he cannot seem to get clear of, that kid can change the offense by just touching the ball less and doing it better. And I want you to hold on to that stock, because if the Buckeyes can take what they saw on Saturday and extrapolate it into the offense as it continues to expand with the more confident Kyle McCord, et cetera, I think that the Trayvion Henderson stock that I promised you in the preseason is going to keep climbing steady. But it is certainly not blew up like we thought it would based
Still
on
plenty of time.
But Saturday, I know, and I was talking to you on the rewatch. Like, I don't want to argue with Doug across video.
Do it.
Like,
Do it. He's sitting right there. Tell him he's wrong.
I think Trayvion Henderson played a really good game on Saturday, and I think it's a step in the right direction, because the confidence is where he gets better.
Okay.
Trayvion. The Trayvion hurdle was not necessarily something that he should have been ashamed of, Douglas. 2 yards. He was feeling himself. It wasn't like, oh, look at what I did.
He celebrated it, though. Like, that's the problem.
No. The problem, it wasn't celebrating. It was, man, I feel like myself. That's what it was. It wasn't like, look what I just did to homeboy. It was, I feel like me. Doug, you're wrong on that. I know it was 2 yards. I know. But
Doug, just come over here and rebut this real quick. No, he doesn't want to. He's got his own show for that. They're going to keep arguing. So stay tuned on the next Kings. Doug responds to Burm.
I know it was 2 yards, but it was not celebrating the fact that he got 2 yards. He was celebrating the fact that he felt athletically like himself for the first time this year.
I was doing the Shania Twain thing.
I know you were. Yeah.
He got it.
I'm taking the slow build of Raw versus SmackDown, so that in like 3 weeks we're gonna have a premium live event, which is Doug versus Burm arguing about it.
I've never done the steel cage before. It's gonna be so weird in there.
Who's that? Who's that?
I think it was a bad Trish Stratus is what that was.
I'm scared of the steel cage.
I love how the wrestling chatter just continually creeps into episodes.
He's forcing me to watch it. Thankfully, not very much this Monday, because we were watching the Bills and Jets. But yikes. Anyway, final one?
I don't know if I should keep talking on this show. Buy stock in Kyle McCord. He's the starting quarterback at Ohio State. Ryan Day has given him the stamp of approval. I think all of those things that we argued about, debated about, overanalyzed throughout August. Why is it going back and forth? Why isn't he taking it? Not every quarterback's mentality is going to be the exact same. You have to push different buttons. You motivate different ways. I think Ohio State is past that. I do think that Kyle McCord is someone who will benefit from having the reins to know that it is his job moving forward. I think you saw those signs of improvement in week 2. He missed a throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, I would like for us to not be in a position where we have to say, that guy missed a throw, and then, the other one did too. Like, every quarterback misses throws in a game. Like,
Except for Caleb Williams.
He misses a lot of bad decisions too. But we're not here to talk about that, and I don't watch every one of his snaps, but I know that he's not as good as everyone thinks he is. But anyway.
Get him.
Like I said, I knew I shouldn't say anything else on this show. I knew it. I was right, and I have stock down on me. But he's going to get more reps. He's going to get more experience. This offense is going to continue to grow. People that are frustrated that Georgia version of Ryan Day hasn't been out there, I think that is largely by design. You can't just go out there and run a CJ Stroud offense in the third career start, for a guy who is working behind 3 new offensive linemen. Maybe I will be proven wrong about that over the course of time, but I am willing to invest in that stock because I think once progress builds week after week and then the full offense becomes available to him and more continuity, more reps, more confidence, seeing things, I think there are a lot of encouraging parts of his game that are coming out and will continue to emerge. And Ohio State needs that because they play Notre Dame in 10 days.
I agree completely. I would also buy Common Core stock.
As would I.
Cool. Thanks for joining us. Happy hump day to you and yours. However you choose to celebrate. Thanks for watching the Stock Watch on the podcast daily. Do you not celebrate? The week is halfway over.
Oh, boy. We'll have some Kings of Columbus later this afternoon.
Today, yeah.
We'll have Buckeye Q on Thursday. There's a lot of things coming. Snap Judgments again on Wednesday night. There's a lot of things coming. Just be there or don't. But you should be there.
The choice is yours. Well, that for Bill and for I'm Austin. So long.